BEO Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder, that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the streets.
BEO Lil Kenny, the main suspect in Young Dolph's murder case, just got locked up. And word is, he's also being hit with charges for the killing of Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook. Behind the flashy lights of Memphis's rap game, Kenny was moving reckless in the streets, making tracks where he practically told on himself. Those lyrics that once hyped his name ended up being the very clues that took him down. But what really brought him down is way darker than anybody saw coming. We're about to break down every wild twist in this street saga that's got Memphis going crazy. The hip-hop scene's been shaking, and this whole story feels straight out of a movie. People online can't stop talking about that wild moment when BEO Lil Kenny got dragged out the bushes. Folks saying it was the DEA who cornered him. But let's be real. It's time to separate what's true from what's just internet talk. This ain't no simple case or traffic stop gone wrong. Word on the street's been loud for months that Kenny might have had something to do with Big Jook's death. And now, the walls are closing in fast. Now here's where things get real wild. This dude was basically confessing to the whole murder in his own lyrics, like he couldn't help but brag about it. Imagine that. The viral footage shows BEO Lil Kenny getting yanked out the bushes like it was some Groundhog Day remix gone wrong. You can even hear someone in the background yelling, "They told him come back, he about to get bit." And man, that scene was pure chaos. Law enforcement pulled him straight out his hiding spot like they already knew where he was.
Everybody praying. Oh shit, everybody come back. Can't do none of this. Shit, we chilling. Can't do nothing to no nigga. Hell no.
Everyone from the block knows getting chased by the feds ain't a game, but Kenny's case hit different. For months, word been floating around that he was the one who pulled the trigger on Big Jook, and that whisper turned into a full-blown storm once this video dropped. Standing just 5'3" and barely 120 pounds, Kenny might have been small, but people said he had a lion's heart when it came to handling business. According to booking records, under his real name, Kenneth Mason, he's facing a whole stack of charges, including running from police in a vehicle, reckless driving, evading arrest, and even illegal window tint. This man really thought he could outrun it all. He also got hit with a charge for having a controlled substance. But this story goes way deeper than just traffic tickets and tint violations. The wild part? Kenny was straight up comfortable hiding out in those bushes. He even went on Facebook later, bragging, "I was comfortable as bad in them bushes. They had to drag me out. We was gonna be there till timber waiting on me to surrender." Like what? This man was really planning to camp out until the coast cleared, but the cops weren't playing that game. They pulled up and made sure he wasn't going anywhere. But it gets even crazier. Kenny been snitching on himself harder than a kid trying to dodge detention.
5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Now, Big Jook is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
After Big Jook was killed outside that restaurant, right there in front of his own mother, Kenny went and dropped a track that had the streets losing their minds. He rapped, "In front of his mama, they downed his brother. We come to get you like bounty hunters." That's beyond bold. That's basically an audio confession. Those bars turned from music to evidence real quick. He didn't even try to hide it. He said we, not they. This man literally placed himself at the scene of the crime through his own lyrics. The real shocker that had everybody talking was how detailed Kenny got with those bars. Big Jook was really killed in front of his mother after leaving a funeral, and here's Kenny rapping about it like he was reading straight from the case file. It was like he handed investigators a roadmap. In the streets, that's what we call straight up self-snitching. And anybody who knows the culture knows that's the quickest way to catch a charge. You can't drop a diss track right after someone gets killed, describing moments only the shooter would know, and expect people not to connect the dots. Kenny was out here celebrating like he just hit the jackpot, saying we, not they, basically confirming his crew had a hand in it. Then, when the heat started to rise, Kenny jumped on Facebook trying to clean things up. He posted, "I'ma let it be known, but I never thought I'd have to stop putting these BS allegations on a knee. Hey, I'm a pretty good guy, but I don't want no clout for nothing. I don't have nothing to do with too." But by then, it was way too late. The damage was already done. By the time people realized what was going on, the damage was already locked in. Now let's rewind and break down how this whole bloody saga really started. Because this wasn't just some rap beef. This was deep street business stretching back more than a decade. The tension between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph wasn't born in the booth. It came from the concrete. It all kicked off back in 2010 during Thanksgiving weekend outside Level 2 nightclub. Yo Gotti and OG Boo Dirty, who was tight with Young Dolph's circle, got into it. And before the night was over, 6 people had been shot. This wasn't no social media argument or diss track drama. This was real-life chaos, bullets flying across the parking lot. And here's the wild part. One of the people arrested with Yo Gotti that night was Corey McClendon, the same dude later charged in the 2017 Hollywood shooting where Young Dolph was almost killed. That right there shows how deep this feud runs. The same names, the same faces, still at war years later. For over 7 years, these same soldiers have been on the front lines, locked in a cycle of revenge, each side trying to wipe out the other. But here's where the story gets extra hot. In 2012, Young Dolph was sitting right next to Gucci Mane when Gucci publicly called out Yo Gotti. Gucci felt like Gotti was trying to steal his shine by dropping a mixtape on October 17th, the exact same day Gucci released his own project. Dolph witnessed that whole scene, the disrespect, the tension, the beginning of a dangerous alliance that would later turn deadly. Over time, the feud exploded, leading to multiple attempts on Young Dolph's life. In 2017, his car got sprayed with over 100 rounds in Charlotte, and when the feds stepped in, all trails led straight back to Yo Gotti's crew, with Corey McClendon once again right in the mix. This beef was no industry stunt. It was a full-blown street war. At this point, it wasn't just a rap beef. This had turned into an all-out street war. The murder of Young Dolph and the role of Big Jook took things to a whole new level. The shocking twist? Dolph's killing in November 2021 wasn't random at all. Word on the block was that Big Jook had dropped a major bag on Dolph's head, and we're talking serious money here. This was Yo Gotti's own brother, the man known as the muscle and the ear to the streets for the CMG empire. This had moved way past music. This was about power, territory, and respect, the 3 things that rule Memphis. Big Jook wasn't just the older brother, he was the enforcer, the one who made sure the streets stayed in check while Yo Gotti handled the business side. But when Young Dolph kept throwing shots at the family name and calling out CMG's empire, Big Jook took it personally. He made a call that would end up costing him everything, even his life. Now, for anyone who doesn't know how deep street politics run, when you put money on someone's head, you're basically playing with your own fate, because loyalty cuts both ways. Dolph had soldiers who loved and respected him, and they weren't about to let that hit slide. The streets talk fast, and long before the police had a clue, word spread that Big Jook had a hand in what went down. And once that truth started circulating, it was only a matter of time before things came full circle. Retaliation in Memphis is guaranteed when a legend like Young Dolph gets taken out. Big Jook knew the risks, but pride and loyalty kept him locked in that decision. During the trial of Dolph's alleged killers, the courtroom buzzed when it came out that Big Jook was the one making the phone calls, coordinating movements, and keeping everything in motion the day Dolph was murdered. It was the final piece in a deadly cycle that had been building for years. Big Jook wasn't just part of the plan. He was the mastermind behind the whole setup, which made him target number 1 when the streets wanted payback. And on January 13th, 2024, that payback finally came calling. He was leaving Perignon Restaurant and Event Center on Winchester near Kirby, his own hometown, a place he probably thought was safe, when the shooters caught him slipping. 1 second he's walking out the door, the next, death came knocking right in broad daylight.
A deadly shooting in Hickory Hill with connections to Memphis rapper Yo Gotti.
But here's what really shook everybody. They killed him in front of his own mother. In street code, that's the ultimate line you don't cross. Family is supposed to be off limits, but when revenge is on the table, all rules get thrown out the window. This was pure retaliation for Young Dolph's murder, and the streets made sure that message was loud and clear. The hit went down around 4:15 p.m. No masks, no disguises, just straight daylight chaos. This wasn't some secret ambush or random robbery. This was a statement. The shooters wanted everyone to see it, to know that Big Jook's reputation, his name, and even his protection couldn't shield him from the fallout of what he started. 2 men got hit that day. Big Jook died right there at the scene, while another man was rushed to Regional 1 in critical condition.
Right now, we do have video that we're analyzing, but we don't have a clear suspect identified at this time. But we know that a weapon was used, a firearm was used in this incident. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
Memphis police later confirmed they had video footage and believe Big Jook was specifically targeted. No mistaken identity, no robbery gone wrong. This was planned, precise, and personal. A hit designed to send a brutal warning to anyone still tied to that old beef. Nobody was untouchable anymore. What made the whole situation even more cold-blooded was the timing. Big Jook had just left a repast, a celebration of life after a funeral, trying to cool off and catch a smoke outside, but he never made it back in. In just a few seconds, everything changed. His mother was still inside the venue when she heard the gunshots that took her son's life. That's the kind of pain that cuts deep, and the whole city felt it. The wildest part? The streets already knew what was up before the news ever broke. Word had been moving through Memphis long before the media got wind of it. People were whispering that Big Jook was the one who put that bag on Young Dolph's head. That's what made him a walking target. In the hood, info travels faster than any police investigation. And those same street channels that helped set up Dolph's murder were the same ones that later exposed Big Jook's hand in it. And when it comes to street justice, there's no waiting for trials or official statements. The streets handle their own. BEO Lil Kenny and his young crew had been sitting back, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They knew exactly who the real power was behind Yo Gotti's operation. And it wasn't just Gotti himself. Taking out Big Jook wasn't random. It was a move filled with vengeance and strategy. For Kenny and his team, this was payback for their fallen leader, Young Dolph, and they wanted everyone to know it loud and clear.
BEO Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the streets.
The wildest twist in all this? BEO. Lil Kenny's own lyrics were basically confirming what everybody in the streets already knew. When he spit bars about coming to get someone like bounty hunters and doing it in front of his mama, he wasn't just rapping. He was painting a picture only someone close to the situation could describe. Those lines lined up perfectly with the way Big Jook's story played out, almost like he was confessing through music. But here's where the story flips again. If Big Jook was still alive today, he probably wouldn't be walking free. Truth is, he'd likely be sitting in a federal prison cell right now, facing murder charges tied to Young Dolph's death. During the trial of the alleged shooters, it came out that police had already questioned Big Jook about his role, and the feds were building a case piece by piece. Investigators had phone records showing Big Jook was in constant contact with the shooters on the very day Dolph got hit. The clock was ticking on him. If those bullets hadn't found him first, the prosecutors would have, and it's almost guaranteed he'd be locked away for life. That's the harsh reality of street life. Sometimes the streets come for you before the system does. Big Jook's death might have looked like pure revenge, but in a twisted way, it could have been a form of mercy compared to what was waiting for him behind bars. Now let's break down BEO Lil Kenny's situation and what might be waiting for him next, because this story is far from over. On paper, his arrest looks small time. Evading arrest, reckless driving, and possession. His bond was just $10,000, and odds are he already posted it and walked right out. But here's the catch. This might only be the first move in something way bigger. Sources say Kenny spent an extra 8 hours getting grilled in interrogation, mostly because of all the wild rumors and internet talk surrounding his name. He even said himself, the internet is a dangerous drug, and he wasn't lying. His own social media posts and music videos gave investigators everything they needed to start connecting the dots between him and Big Jook's murder. See, the feds don't rush, they build. They'll grab you on something small and work quietly in the background, stacking evidence until the big case is ready to drop. And in Kenny's situation, those self-snitching lyrics are gold to investigators. Every line, every video clip, every flex online just adds fuel to the case. At the end of the day, BEO Lil Kenny's downfall ain't just about revenge or street payback. It's about what happens when a life built on violence starts to cave in on itself. Young Dolph got killed, and that set off a deadly chain reaction that ended with Big Jook gone too. Now, the same streets that made Kenny a name might be the same ones that take everything from him. Big Jook's death didn't close the book. It just flipped to the next dark chapter. Now, BEO Lil Kenny is the one facing the fallout, and the streets of Memphis are once again drenched in heartbreak. This endless cycle of revenge has already stolen too many lives and ripped apart too many families. Yo Gotti lost his brother, Young Dolph's family lost their foundation, and now Kenny's own people might lose him to the prison system. It's a vicious loop that never stops spinning. The real question is, when does it end? How many more lives gotta be taken before these crews realize that the only destinations on this road are death or prison? Kenny might think he's in the clear, but both the streets and the feds got eyes on him. Every move he makes is being watched, and the clock is ticking. So what do you think? Will BEO Lil Kenny beat these charges, or is this just the start of a much bigger storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment to stay locked in with all the breaking updates coming straight out of the Memphis rap scene.